Sherab Palden Beru was born in Kham in eastern Tibet in early August of the Water Ox year 1913. He entered monastic life at the age of 9. Sherab began to practice drawing at an early age. He was taught to copy examples from his teacher on a slate covered with a thin coat of butter using a stick. His Thangka painting studies began in earnest at the age of 15 with Master Tsemang Lama Lodro. At 21, he was permitted to paint his first full Thangka. It was during this time that he also began his Dharma studies at Palpong Monastery under the great Tai Situ Pemo Wangchuk Gyalpo. Palpong Monastery was well known for its painting tradition in the style of Karmagadri. You were at the 1976 seminary.
Yeah.
And Sherab was there.
Right.
And he was doing some work for Trungpa Rinpoche. Right?
Yeah. Trungpa Rinpoche had asked him to come over to draw tiger, lion, gorilla, and dragon. And so it was about halfway through seminary, and there was a little outbuilding from the motel that the seminary was in. And he just stayed out there, and there was like 3 feet of snow at least almost all the time, and I'd go out there and bring him materials and lunch, and he just pretty much stayed out there and did those drawings, which are now on all the banners and the flags and pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what he was practicing, but he practiced, he got up real early in the morning, and he'd just sit up in his bed and do his pujas. He spoke enough English, so he was a great storyteller for his English, yeah. And he told stories about dream yoga things, about going into different realms and different paradises and getting teachings. Yeah, and getting teachings and flying to see Situ Rinpoche. When he first came, he met Trungpa Rinpoche in A Suite, and Trungpa Rinpoche said, "Oh, you look much older." And Sherab said, "Oh, your eyes must be getting much worse." Trungpa Rinpoche said he wanted it as large as possible. So I went to May DNF at Crossroads and bought the largest linen bed sheet I could find. So anyway, we spent a couple of weeks priming it.
That's right.
And then
stretching it and priming it. And then something happened with the paint.
Well, yeah, you can see it right here. It started flaking off almost immediately.
Yeah. I remember he was very unhappy about that.
He was, what we'd call freaked out about it. And obviously we couldn't keep painting it because the paint was falling off as soon as we were putting it on. So we started over from scratch. So then we started the second Thangka. And I remember from then on, every morning it was Om Kakakai Kai Sabiyaksha Raksha Buddha Prasad. Every morning he was making offerings, every morning, and he was constantly doing it because there was, and he made sure that the second time we started on the, he looked at the calendar and got the right day, because he felt something had gone amiss, and obviously it had for the first time around, and there was a sort of a window of working time to get this done. I think it was 3 months. So. Yeah, so he did all the drawings, and the old style is you take a piece of paper, and on the drawings you make a little dotted line. And I got these little rollers from the seamstress store, and then we pounced it with charcoal under here, so you had little charcoal dots, and you came back and drew in the pencil line, and then started filling in the colors.
Well, maybe it was after that. Because I don't recall doing any work on this canvas, but after that, on the second canvas, he definitely brought a lot of us in to help him with it.
Yeah.
I remember on the second canvas I shaded some mountains on one side or the other and did a few things here and there. This angle, it's strange, I can actually see, I remember that after he gessoed it and had it all stretched, he took his knife and he burnished the whole thing with his knife, and sitting at this angle I can actually see.
Oh, the shine.
But one of the things about Sherab, that amazed me was the quality of his drawings. And as I recall, you said he worked on paper and then pounced them on here. I think I remember that now too. But I remember it must have been on paper. Or maybe he did some with it on the canvas, where he used charcoal and sketched in charcoal.
Yeah.
And then sort of make a rough drawing.
Right.
And then he made a refined drawing with pencil. But just the sureness of his line.
Yeah,
It's
he had
so
an amazing, clear, distinct, non-compromising line. He didn't like fudge it. He just had a definitely clear sense of what he was doing. No question about it.
Kind of fortunate that we have this here.
Yeah.
And I was able to film some details of it because it really shows the quality. And this was not meant as a finished drawing on its own. It's a working drawing, but the degree of the refinement of all the forms is quite amazing.
I remember one time in the kitchen there was this ubiquitous calendar with just landscape photos on it, and I was asking Sherab about it, what he thought, did he like or something, and it was interesting, he couldn't see it, and I would try to explain to him what the picture was, and but it was like, and I realized he hadn't grown up with photographs, and so he didn't see that.
Right.
And then I realized that he's probably seeing completely different than I see.
The translator, Larry Mermelstein, recalls being with Sherab in Scotland, watching one of the early moon landings. When the shot of the Earth came into view, Sherab asked what that was. "The Earth," he replied. Sherab asked, "Round, not flat?" Larry said it was one of his first windows into the Tibetan cosmology and practice.
And one of the things Trungpa had asked is that everything be done with mineral stone pigments. All these colors, were mixed with, ground up with a mortar and pestle and mixed with rabbit skin glue. He said that he painted, and then he was asked to be an administrator for a number of years, which he found not to his liking, but something he did. I asked him about sculpture once, and he said, "No, I did it once, and it was very messy." So I think he'd worked on one very large sculpture for some monastery, maybe 20 or 30 feet, from what I remember.
So in the monastic situation, he was a mural painter, and then he
that's
became
right.
a Thangka painter later, because he was requested to paint Thangkas outside of Tibet.
He said he was really completely devoted to Trungpa Rinpoche, and he would stay here and help, but he didn't feel like Trungpa Rinpoche was a kind of Lama that needed help, because Trungpa Rinpoche had this magic that he could get things done sort of, in a different realm.
After 35 years of monastic life, Sherab's life was suddenly changed in 1956, at the age of 43, by the Chinese Communist annexation of Kham. Sherab spent the next 3 years in Lhasa. He fled the city at the same time as the Dalai Lama and was wounded by Chinese bullets. Trungpa Rinpoche invited Sherab to teach at the Young Lama's School in Dalhousie. Ringu Tuku recalls that Sherab told the Gesar stories at that time, singing the dialogues. In the early 60s, Trungpa Rinpoche invited Sherab to join him in the UK. There, he helped found Ling Monastery in Scotland. I remember Trungpa Rinpoche visiting at the Dreshers and bringing over a small photograph of the Rumtek Bajadara, because that was to be,
right.
I guess, the major model for this one.
Not too similar, though.
Well, I mean, it's got the two bodhisattvas.
Yeah,
It's got the dragon in front. Well, it's got the same kind of nimbus with the animals. But
it's just the coloration.
Coloration certainly different. Yeah.
I do remember that it seemed like months we were just on the Thangka, we were just doing pastels. Everything was pastel. Pastel clouds, everything was pinks and light greens and then one day he came in and he just painted the nimbus, the halo around the
orange.
This really brighter than this, really bright orange. And I was shocked. He was a little bit not quite sure about it.
Minium orange, which is the mineral pigment, and it's an extraordinary orange color. It's brighter than anything you can get.
Yeah, he painted this Thangka, and then later he painted the Naropa Thangka, the big Naropa at Naropa University.
Did you buy him the going away gift?
Yeah, so we never went out, but at the end I asked him what he'd like, and he said he wanted a cowboy hat, so I bought him a cowboy hat, and then we went shopping at Crossroads Mall, and somebody had given me some money as a gift, and he bought a maroon velvet smoking jacket.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Cowboy hat. Yeah.
Cowboy hat and a smoking jacket.
Yeah.
Maroon, yeah, but I mean, to him it wasn't a smoking jacket.
It was maroon.
Yes, it was at the Denver Hilton. Well, Sherab Palden was there painting the Vajradhara Thangka, remember? And what happened was I was doing all the decorations for the event, the banners and everything else, and the cake. And I think we'd done a cake before. And somehow the idea came to see whether Sherab Palden could do the Tiger, Lion, Garuda, Dragon on icing. So Sherab Palden came down to the bakery, and we set him up with the icing bags, and he did these beautiful Tiger, Lion, Garuda, Dragon images on the cake. I remember standing there. It was just really exciting to see him do it in icing because it was so perfect. And then they must have adhered it to the cake somehow. And then it got rolled in that night.